Hi, everybody. I just wanted to reach out. So, with the salon being closed, this is obviously a hard time for all of us, not only for you guys because you can't get your hair done, and I know how important that is to so many of you, but also for us stylists. Not only is this how we make our living, but this is most of our passions. This is how we express our creativity, and this is a social outlet for us. All of you have become our friends, and I miss all of you. I love connecting with all of you. So I figured that instead I would bring some content to you guys. So if you have any questions about your appointments, feel free to message me. We're trying to get all of you rescheduled as fast as we possibly can. I know that if we all just stick together, this will be over before we know it, and you guys will all be back in my chairs. But I do realize this is a hard time for a lot of you. So I figured that I would bring a video to you. And today I figured I'd start with just doing curly hair. So I get asked all the time how I curl my hair every day, and I get told, oh my gosh, it takes so long. And I really don't think so. I think that with some practice and the right direction, you guys can do this just as quickly as me. My hair is pretty straight naturally, so my hair is just blow dried to its natural state right now. So all I'm going to use is a 1-inch curling iron and a hair clip. So I'm going to start by parting out just this bottom section of my hair. I really think it's important to curl your hair section by section so you don't miss any random pieces. So I just have it sectioned from here all the way around to here. And I usually start on my right side. Doesn't matter which side you start on. But I am going to grab a piece of hair that's like 2 inches wide maybe. And I'm going to start by wrapping that at the bottom of my barrel. I'm going to start the barrel at the top of the section and wrap slowly. And I like to leave this bottom little tail out. Just because I think a more modern curl doesn't really have a lot of curl at the end. It's got a little bit more of a straightness to the bottom. So once I feel that it's nice and hot, I'm going to unwrap kind of each section at a time and then just slide my barrel through all the way to the bottom. And then sometimes if I feel like it's a little curly, I'll just twist it a little. But that's it. That's how I get my first section. Then I'm going to take this next section, again, clamping at the top of the section, bottom of the barrel, twisting it around, leaving my little tail out, wait till it's warm, unravel once, unravel twice, and slide my barrel out the bottom of the section. Okay, so this side is done. I'm going to switch to this side. So I'm going to clamp at the top, ravel through, leave this little tail out at the bottom. Gonna unwrap once, unwrap twice, slide my barrel out through the bottom. The reason that we clamp on the top of the hair strand like this is because we don't want the heat to only be at the bottom end of the hair. We really want a lot of that curl to be concentrated closer towards the roots. So by clamping at the top and spreading the hair throughout the entire barrel, we're evenly distributing that heat through the entire hair strand so that we're getting a lot of curl kind of closer up towards the top and not a lot down at the ends. So I'm just going to let these cool. I'm not going to mess with the curls very much until they cool. I'm going to go to my next section, part out my next section here. And again, about 2 inches wide, clamping the barrel at the roots, sliding through. Warming up. I just heat it till I can feel the heat all the way through the hair strand. Then I'm going to unwrap, slide the end of my barrel out. Nice. So I try not to mess with my curls too much while they're still warm. Even if you have the tendency to be like, oh, this curl's not perfect, I need to redo it. I really strongly urge you guys to wait until the very end and kind of brush your curls out and see if there's anything that you need to go and fix. Because even though it might not look perfect at this stage where it's cooling, once it's all brushed out, it usually looks really good. So try not to get too hard on yourselves or too picky. I think, more modern curls are like lived in. They're not perfect curls. So if you get them too perfect and uniform, then what happens is it looks a little too formal, you know, and this is more of like just my everyday curling my hair look. Okay, so this piece isn't perfect, and like I said, my tendency is to want to go back and fix it, but I'm just gonna wait till the very end. It's probably gonna blend in just fine. Okay, so there, I already have half my head done. That's how fast it is, you guys. If you have curly hair naturally, I don't think that any of you really need to flat iron it first, because that's another benefit of clamping the barrel at the top, is that when I'm clamping it at the top and pulling through, I'm getting all that curl smoothed down. I'm smoothing all the hair really shiny and smooth. So I don't think that if you flat iron your hair first and then curl over, it holds as well. I think that it just, you know, does excess damage to the hair that you don't really need to do. Maybe if your hair is super curly, you could start by like blowing out a little bit more smooth with a round brush. And if you guys need a tutorial on that, let me know. I can help you guys with that too. Okay, so as they're cooling, they're kind of in these little coils, and that's good. I like to see that. If you mess with your hair too much when it's warm, it loses all that curl. So a lot of you girls that have problems with your curls not staying in, try not to touch them when they're in this cooling stage, because your hair stays how it cools. So if it cools with you brushing it out straight again, it's gonna go back straight again. It's really important that you kind of let it set. I don't recommend pre-spraying the hair with any hairsprays or anything like that. They kind of build up on the curling iron, and I know some of you might get like that brown burnt buildup on your curling iron, and that can be the cause of that, is just by using hairspray on the strand first. So I'll finish with some hairspray. If your hair has trouble holding a curl, I recommend like blow drying with some sort of volumizing or mousse kind of hold product. The Davines volumizing mousse would be perfect for that, because you blow dry it on your damp hair, and then it will give your curls a little bit more memory as they cool down throughout the day. Okay, so I'm on my last section here. Curling, unwrapping, and then just sliding the barrel out on the bottom. On these sections right at the top, I like to try and get as close to my roots as possible, and I'm curling straight back. That way I'm getting lift at the root and getting a little bit of volume in through there. You can do the same curl alternating directions. You don't have to go all in the same direction like me. I tend to wear my curls for a few days. So I feel like if I go in the same direction, it's easier for me to touch it up the next day, because I can just pick out a curl and know that it's going back away from my face versus alternating. But I do alternate the directions sometimes. And when I do that, I always start with these pieces right around my face going back, and then the next section coming forwards. And that way, it gives it kind of like a little bit of a looser, beachier feel. Okay, this is like my last section here. Again, I'm kind of lifting at the root to get some volume up and through there. Waiting till it heats up, and then unraveling as I go, sliding the barrel through. Okay, so with my bangs, I usually just kind of run the curling iron through them a little bit at the bottom just to give them a little bit of curve, but I don't really necessarily put them in with a big curl. Okay, so this is what it looks like before I brush it out. And then I just take my hands and run them through and break up all those curls. Okay, and there you go. So see, all of those curls that I was like, oh, this one's not perfect, they all brush out, they blend together really nicely, and this will fall out throughout the day to like a nicer, looser curl. So depending on how tight or how loose you want your curl, you can adjust the temperature on your curling iron up for a tighter curl, you can adjust the temperature down for a looser curl, and you can also do a different size curling iron. So you could go up a size in your curling iron into a 1 1/4 inch or 1 1/2 inch would be a really pretty loose curl. Also be mindful of how you're twisting it on the barrel. So if you're curling and your barrel is, you're wrapping it right on top of each other, one around the barrel, you're gonna get a really tight curl. If you're loosely wrapping the curls along the entire length of the barrel, you're gonna get a lot more loose of a curl. So keep that in mind also when you're curling, especially when you're curling with a wand, because this is what I mean. If you're curling like this really tight, you're gonna get a super tight curl. And then if you're curling more like this, really loosely, you're gonna get a looser curl. So just being mindful of that when you're curling, if you're wrapping with a wand or anything like that, to make sure that you're getting symmetrical on both sides. But yeah, see, that took me only a few minutes. If you have any questions, reach out to me. Otherwise, just know that I am thinking about all of you and I miss you all so much. And this will all be over before we know it. Can't wait to see you guys next time. Bye.